Hey, wonderful. So, deep bow to everyone. Um, Happy birthday. Happy
Happy
continuation day.
birthday.
Happy present moment. Um, the title that we're working with today, our working title, it may change, as all things are possible to change, but our working title is Bhante's Birthday Bonanza. So, what does this really mean? Um, well, what this means is that we're gathering together, and I believe it's my birthday. A lot of people believe it's my birthday, so that's a joy. That's a reason to come together and practice. Anything can be a reason for stepping into this practice space together. So we can have a Halloween meditation bonanza. We can have um, a depression day bonanza of meditation. We can have an anxiety bonanza. Okay, everything can encourage us to practice and be a moment for not judgment, not self fixation, not complicated thinking, not a real true story that we have to deal with, but kind of a refresh and restart point and beginning point for planting seeds of joy and present moment awareness. So, that's kind of what I wanted to do today and share this space and this moment together with a celebratory mindset of gratefulness. So maybe the first thing that we'll start with is sound of the bell. And as we hear the sound of the bell, we are, hey there, Anushka, we are truly invited to come home to our true selves, right? The truth, the freedom, the peace, the happiness, the joy that is fully accessible to us here and now just by coming home to the present moment in our breathing. There is a freedom, there is a safety, there is a joy. Um, we may find ourselves in certain times that there's so much difficulty and there's so much confusion, and we couldn't to remember our mindfulness, and we couldn't to remember um, our capacity and our ability to let go and to refresh and restart. So that's not to, worry about that. Well, a meteor could hit Earth at any moment and, let's worry about that. No, but rather that we can really be grateful for this opportunity to be in the present moment, to breathe and be happy and to experience peace and to experience this kind of collective waking up, this collective coming together and being here in the present moment. Okay, so let's make sure that you're in a comfortable position, and we will ring the bell a couple times. And it's really to invite the bell and to invite the Buddha's voice, right? Maybe we can imagine, I know I certainly imagine, wow, I hope I can say really wise, skillful things today. And people who show up here also, wow, I hope, this will be the one that's really, really wise, really, puts me in a meditation mindset, releases all my sufferings. And so, actually, if we listen in the right way, then the bell is that voice. And it brings us home to whatever enlightenment we need right now, whatever wisdom we need right now, the bell can offer that to us or invite that to be there for ourselves right now. So let's listen to 3 sounds of the bell. So when we join a practice like this, a group kind of meditation practice like this, and we have we have a facilitator, and they seem to be someone of authority, right? Not necessarily exactly this situation, but also that. But we join a kind of meditative, spiritual space or practice space, and there's a facilitator, and these kinds of things are going on together. And so it might feel that that's a time when we're supposed to grasp onto something. We're supposed to get a hold of something and follow along with it, and kind of we lose our independence at that moment. We're waiting for the next thing, or we're looking for the next thing. But actually, in this kind of space, a meditative gathering, community meditation practice, or looking at deep spiritual teachings, this is a time to be the most independent. This is when the conditions are ripe for you to practice independently. Okay, I had a Zen teacher who would say, we practice alone together. Now that doesn't mean we're alone together in some way that we're kind of privately together, but actually it's about we are independent together. We are mutually supporting one another, but we are maintaining our individuation. We're maintaining our contemplative, backstepping, present moment aware mindset. And we're making use of this as an opportunity to practice. Whether that's the facilitator or the people who are participating or someone who's kind of in the middle of that, we have to make use of it as a time to practice, as a time to follow our breathing, as a time to let go of our complicated thinking, as a time to put our self down, to set it down. If you can't set it down, carry it out. Try again another time. It's a really special experience to be sincere, to really be wholehearted in the present moment, but not being, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know what's about to happen. And of course, there's this constant, machine of our self-fixated thinking that has built up this quite strong story of, okay, I meditate and let go, and I'm aware of the present moment. I'm aware of my breathing. But when it comes down to it, there is a real true story that's going on, and I need to rely on that ultimately, and I need to go back to that ultimately. So that's there, but there's also so much space and so much openness for putting that down. And to not know, to just be intimate, to just be wholeheartedly present with exactly what's going on right now. Seeing is going on. Maybe I would say to be really vividly present with the things that are most valuable to you, which is something we already know about. If we have a 2023 Audi or something, or a Bugatti, or a diamond necklace, or our smartphone or something like that, we are mindful of it, right? We do give our attention to it. Or maybe it's a major bill that we need to pay, right? In some sense, that's valuable to us because it's important. But when we're actually able to step back from this constant craving, this constant avoidance and grasping, we can start to maybe look a little bit more deeply and question a little bit what is actually the most valuable to us, what is the most precious to us, what could we not go without. That's what's really worthwhile to give our attention to, and to kind of, in some sense, we can rely on that, those things that are most valuable to us. Maybe that's why it's valuable, because we feel we can rely on it. So, for anyone who, just a bit of an intermission here, for anyone who is in the habit of drinking alcohol, especially beer, okay, I want to please put you on to non-alcoholic craft IPA beer. That's the ticket. Okay, so this, even as a Buddhist monk, I can drink beer. Okay, especially my birthday. So, not sure. Maybe I get in trouble, but probably not, because there's no alcohol in it. So, please, please start drinking non-alcoholic beer if you're a beer drinker. Okay. It's really a treat. So, how can we start to rely on those things that are really so valuable, so precious? It's unbelievable. I mean, I don't know that I necessarily want a Bugatti, okay, but I want a super cool, nice car. Or we have we have like electric bikes here at the temple. I want a personal, very powerful electric bike, something like that. Or I want a robe that's the finest cotton, the finest, softest, most beautiful color, right? Or I want to be healthy, etc., etc. Want to live a long life. I want people to like me and not to dislike me. Maybe these are my birthday wishes, right? So, but so those things are valuable to me, but something that's, and so a lot of people, I think, go through their lives kind of relying on trying to get, or their capacity to get, what they imagine to be so valuable to them. Especially can also be getting something out of a relationship, especially like a sexual relationship. We're striving, we're giving so much attention to this value that we're giving to a particular experience, right? And all of this kind of is in the realm of grasping and aversion. We're chasing after this. We're looking down, or we're trying to avoid those things that we don't like, or are less than um, what we want. So we're stuck in this trap of a real true self and a real true story, and we're constantly perpetuating it. And it's very stressful, and it's very confusing, and things often don't go our way, and we often don't have the support structure that we need to even pursue our holistic desires, our wholesome desires and aspirations, right? So we're kind of stuck. It's a difficult situation, and now we're paying thousands of dollars for these programs and classes and retreats, or we're changing ourselves fundamentally for some other person or some other job or something like that. There's just all this struggle trying to get what we deem as being valuable to us. But in meditation and in this practice of mindfulness, we can find, we can touch, we can experience what is most valuable to us. even more valuable than all those things. And it's so true. It's so right there on the nose. It's so real. It's so in our face that we can't comprehend it. Our usual way, our cognitive way of comprehending things, we cannot comprehend that we are participating in, that we are experiencing something right now that is vastly more valuable to us than a Bugatti. Okay. And, not everybody wants a Bugatti, but you want a super nice car. I mean, you can sell it, whatever you want to do with it, right? So we have something right here inside of us that is vastly more valuable than that. And that something is not a vague spiritual notion. Okay. We can get to a place of openness and letting go and spaciousness. That's very important. But even more to the point is the your seeing. It's absolutely unbelievable that we can see right now. Okay? That we can hear right now. That we can breathe right now. This is a source of so much healing and transformation and joy, but we need to apply our attention to these faculties. We need to look closely at them. We need to be involved with our seeing itself. Okay? To see seeing itself. But not to grasp on that, not to get stuck on that. It's more to enjoy seeing itself. And to breathe breathing itself. Because every single breath that we're taking is incredibly, incredibly precious. Now, all of this is to say this is a part of a program or a way of living to nourish yourself and take care of yourself, but it doesn't exclude any practicality. Okay, and it's this quality of enjoyment that we bring to the practice that's so essential. So we breathe in such a way that we enjoy. We see seeing in such a way that we enjoy. So that means we have to be careful about what we breathe. It means we have to be careful about what we see. We have to be careful about what we consume, what we eat, what we drink. But in the midst of whatever it is that we're breathing, there's also a preciousness to it. In the midst of whatever it is that we're seeing, there's also a preciousness and a freedom to it, because we don't just need to see the content. We don't just need to subscribe to the story of what's going on. Okay? But actually we can abandon that and see the seeing itself. It comes right back to this place of ultimate individuation, interdependent individuation. And this kind of practice, this kind of teaching, this way is something we can apply to everything and everywhere. Okay, we're breathing in smoke. Well, you can still breathe breathing. Sure, try to move away from the smoke. It's not too good for you, but you can still practice. Okay, there's anxiety or there's depression in the body, in the mind. You can still recognize and feel gratitude for all of these precious gifts that we have, okay, that are not based on a self-judgment or a story or any kind of sinking, being sunk into a particular kind of experience, but rather these access points that we have for freedom and for truth and for enjoyment for appreciation, allow us just to simply continue at that moment, not to continue in the way that other people want us to continue or that we feel we need to continue. But I can't get out of bed. I messed up. I don't feel good. And I can do good deeds. I can take care of myself. I can enjoy this present moment. I can touch the truth inside of myself. So that we don't rely on our actions and we don't rely on the actions of people outside of ourselves, but we rely actually on the truth. We rely on our practice that we are stepping into and getting involved with now, here and now. And it's just a work in progress, and it's something that we can collaborate with others um, to do, to practice, not to follow, not to believe in, not to worship, not to praise, not to blame, but to collaborate in a way of practice, to show up wholeheartedly, you know, and to rely on our mindfulness and rely on our willingness to let go, but not in a particular way, but just to be aware and not to get fixated or stuck. So for me, that's where I start to access, where I start to find this place of just sitting, just breathing, and just being aware. And I find for myself that that's a very uh, liberatory and rich experience. And it offers freedom. It is freedom. It is the practice of being free. It is the practice of non conditional awareness. But in general, there's also going to be a lot of other things going on in our lives, internally or externally. But somehow, when the moment comes about, maybe it's not a meditation group, but maybe you stub your toe. Maybe you're getting into the bathtub. Maybe someone has just given you a gift, or you're stepping out into the cold air, and you can remember and come home to this awareness itself, this release, this freedom, this falling away of self fixation. So at least you can know that in the midst of whatever situation that you're going through, and there can be very difficult situations in our lives, that freedom is still there, still accessible, is valid. And it's from that place of freedom, and it's from our place of a willingness to be in relationship with the present moment, that we can really follow through with our intentionality, that we can continue going in the directions that we want to go in over a long period of time. We can say, yeah, I'm a meditator. Come on. I'm a Buddhist. I'm a practitioner. I'm following, I work with spiritual teachings from Thich Nhat Hanh or from Buddhism, what have you. I'm involved. But you can't do that unless you can empower and nourish and connect with this living, breathing, present moment experiencing, and to start being in relationship with that. all the resources and all the support in the world. The Buddha themselves, I think the Buddha might have been non-binary. The Buddha themselves, face to face with you, says, all right, let's do this. Unless you have a relationship with that abandon, to free, to release, to be uninvolved with your self-fixation, you're a mess. You're a bad person. You're a good person. You're the best person. You're wealthy. You're poor. You're stressed. You're anxious. Whatever it might be. Unless you can be uninvolved and you know about being uninvolved with these self-fixated ideas, which are ultimately just not true in an ultimate sense, but not to be excluded, not to be rejected, okay? Not to be fought against, just something that's there, something that comes up. The body is just something that comes up. This is just something that's happening right now. Okay? So unless we have that relationship with to be uninvolved, to be present, to be aware, to know about not relying on our self-fixation through practice, then we couldn't make use of it. The Buddha's words and the Buddha's guidance wouldn't mean anything. It's like if we need to dig a ditch for whatever reason, if you don't have a relationship with your body in like the most kind of real way, if you don't have a relationship with your body, you can't even walk to go and dig the ditch. You can't do anything. You can't do what you should do. You can't do what you need to do. So, of course, we naturally have a relationship with our bodies. We can do physical activities, most of us. But with this liberation, with this freedom from suffering, freedom from grasping and aversion, that relationship with the mind, or that relationship with our capacity to practice that, is all about having a relationship with this to be uninvolved, to be aware without reactivity, to notice and to abandon at that moment. And a simple way to understand that is the practice and the experience of just sitting here, breathing, and aware. And can get as involved as you like to get involved, right? So any of us, it doesn't matter if you are a woman or a man or non-binary or have less physical abilities or more physical abilities. If you go out and you dig a ditch every day or multiple ditches every day, you're going to become stronger. You're going to become skillful at it. So it's the same with the mind and our capacity to let go and our capacity to refresh and restart and know about our true face, our original face, which is not different from this face, whatever this face is. It's not different from that. So the you that's stuck in bed and tired and depressed and can't get up and is a mess, that's also your original face. That is also the light of the Buddha shining inwardly and outwardly, okay, saving countless people from their suffering. But we need to know how to be aware of that and to develop our relationship with that more and more so that we can have more trust, more faith, more capacity to walk on the path. And that's going to be creative and contemplative and loving and gentle and sincere. For each one of us, it's going to be somewhat unique. But it's got to be a joy. And if we can know, if we can just touch, to just taste the flavor of our breathing being valid and true and a joy and safe and non discriminatory, then we've really got a lot of power. We've got a lot of wisdom that we can make use of in our life. Okay, let's listen to a sound of the bell. Hey, how about any sharing or any questions or anything like that? Anyone feel inspired to share anything or express anything at this time? Hey, Thomas over on YouTube said, "What does Varapano mean?" So Bhante is, of course, a lot of people call me Bhante. It's just like calling me monk, or literally means venerable sir. But it's like a, I don't know. For me, it's a somewhat affectionate and familiar way to call the monk, right? Um, Kind of like in a Catholic sense, you would call the preacher father, something like that, but not exactly the same. So Varapano is my monk name, and that means something like brightest wisdom. So Vara means brightest, and Panya means wisdom. Okay, so that's what it means. It's a lot to live up to. Okay, at this point, I was reading a well, let's do some songs first. Let's do a couple songs, and then we're going to get into the heavy Zen stuff that's, I don't even know if we're supposed to be reading that, but we will. We will look at it because I really like it a lot, and it's very profound in some sense. So let's get out our song books. I don't know if anyone has their song book in front of them. I did share a link in the Discord at one point about that we have some of these songs here. Um, we're going to start with uh, I have arrived, I am home in the here and the now. I am solid, I am free, in the ultimate I dwell. It's pretty self explanatory. but we kind of declare. We declare this as we sing it. Okay? I'm going to put the lyrics as well in the voice text channels just so everybody can have it as easily as possible. And I'm going to put it in the comments of the YouTube. Very simple song, and we can sing this together. Okay. Please remember, this is not a performance. This is a practice. So please sing along with me as best you can. Okay. So what we'll do, yeah, you can sing along in your mind as well, whatever way you can do it. So what we'll do is we'll sing this song once, the first time, and if you already know it, then you can sing along on your own, on your end. And then the second time, we'll try to sing together. We'll try to harmonize a little bit. So some people can unmute their microphones and we'll see what we can do. Okay. It's quite difficult to sing together in this form, with Discord and latency and all these kinds of things. But we'll give it a try, harmonize and sing together. Okay. Here we go. I have arrived. I am home in the here and in the now. I have arrived. I am home in the here and in the now. I am solid. I am free. I am solid. I am free. In the ultimate I dwell. In the ultimate I dwell. Okay, so this time we try to sing along, and some advice I have for trying to sing along in this format is kind of almost focusing more on the sound itself rather than the particular words. So don't try to overemphasize like where we are in the words together, but more the harmonizing of the sound, and you're singing the words, so the chord or the kind of note that we're working with. So I see a lot of people with their mics muted. Let's get those unmuted. I want to hear some people's definitely Anushka and Abby and Christina. I know Christina's a good singer, and Sonia. Okay, here we go. You can take a deep breath in. I have arrived. I am home in the here and in the now. I have arrived. I am home in the here and in the now. I am solid. I am free. I am solid. I am free. In the ultimate ultimate I dwell. In the ultimate I dwell. Great. So this is a time when we can kind of shake off our shyness. Don't be shy. Try to vocalize and to share out. And yeah, we try to sing along, okay? All right, so this is a classic, and this is Happiness is Here and Now. And I think this mindset is very important. We're basically making a declaration of sorts with our sincerity and with our present moment awareness. Happiness is here and now. I have dropped my worries, nowhere to go, nothing to do, no longer in a hurry. Okay? Light and joyful and fun. Okay? If there's a smile on your face, then you're doing it right. And for myself, oftentimes it's the people who don't want to sing and are the worst singers that are actually the greatest joy to hear them sing, right? So precious, so lovely to hear them express themselves. So let's try it together, all right? I know a few people know this song, Happiness is Here and Now. Happiness is here and now. I have dropped my worries. Nowhere to go, nothing to do. No longer in a hurry. Happiness is here and now. I have dropped my worries. Somewhere to go, something to do, but I don't need to hurry. Everybody now. Happiness is here and now. I have dropped my worries. Nowhere to go, nothing to do. No longer in a hurry. Happiness is here and now. I have dropped my worries. Somewhere to go, something to do, but I don't need to hurry. Okay, wonderful. Someone just asked a question, what is the secret to no mind singing these songs? All right, so what's the next song? So we'll do a song with some hand motions, so maybe not everybody can sing, it's a little bit too much for them, but we can do these hand motions together, and please do sing out. I know I'm hearing Abby's voice over there, and I feel such a joy to hear him singing and kind of expressing that happiness is here and now. I feel happy to hear him saying that. Okay, so this is the song Breathing In, Breathing Out. And I'm going to put the lyrics in a few different places so that people can see it and sing along. It's a very powerful kind of practice to do this. So with this song, even if you can't sing along, you can certainly join with the hand motions, okay? Okay. Everybody ready? So you can follow along with the hand motions.
Not in the Discord chat.
Oh, let me put it in the Discord chat for you. Okay, here we go. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. I am blooming as a flower. I am fresh as the dew. I am solid as a mountain. I am firm as the earth. I am free. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. I am water reflecting what is real, what is true. And I feel there is space deep inside of me. I am free, I am free, I am free. Okay, let's do that one more time. Here we go. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. I am blooming as a flower. I am fresh as the dew. I am solid as a mountain. I am firm as the earth. I am free. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. I am water reflecting what is real, what is true. And I feel there is space deep inside of me. I am free, I am free, I am free. Sweet. How wonderful. Okay. Anyone have a request? we have a request, maybe we'll do one last song. If not, we'll get into our Zen reading. Okay, so we're going to read some Zen teachings. Just a little bit of background. This isn't a short reading, so I'm not going to provide too much commentary or extra information, but a little bit of background is that in the Zen tradition, in the Zen school, there is a founder, someone who started Zen Buddhism, and Zen is meant to be this this teaching that is not reliant upon words or phrases. There's truth that is not reliant upon any kind of cognitive way of seeing things. A truth that actually is free from or outside of the scriptures, the texts and the teachings, and yet here we are. We're going to read a teaching that's supposedly about Zen, and so the founder of that Zen tradition is Bodhidharma, and we're going to get into this. Okay. So this is a letter from a Zen master to an instructor and lecturer named Yen in, way back in kind of ancient China. So this is a letter to that instructor, that lecturer. And so you can imagine that this Zen master has the one who wrote this letter has a great aspiration to free people from their suffering and to help people see the truth. And if someone is like an instructor and a lecturer, right? Someone who's in a position of speaking and sharing and kind of connecting with a lot of other people, there's probably a deep wish for that instructor, that person, to understand and to receive these teachings so that they can share that outward in their work, in their social work in this case, as an instructor and a lecturer. So you can just try to listen deeply and see if you become enlightened during the next 10 minutes or so. So, letter to instructor, lecturer Yan. Before the great teacher Bodhidharma had even left India, he was already much mistaken. Since he could not hold still, eventually he sailed to Liang, went on to Wei, and revealed some information in 9 years at Shaolin Temple. Calling it simple transmission of direct pointing, his failure was all the more extreme. But the fact is that he couldn't help but add error to error, meeting mind with mind. To begin with, there is no principle attained. Principle means fundamental truth. To begin with, there is no fundamental truth that is attained. What is realized is just experience of one's own original state. But how do you explain this original state? Isn't mind without acquisition the original state? Isn't mind is not Buddha, it is not a thing, the original state? Is all so? the original state, is all not so, the original state. If you understand like this is just like carving dung to make a sandalwood statue. It will simply stink forever. Even if your eloquence is like a waterfall and your wit like lightning, it's like trying to hit the moon with a stick. This person on the path requires an enlightened person to know what it comes down to. But now saying enlightenment is a word for curing error. Since time immemorial, the Buddhas and founders have all seen people as drifting into error from ignorance and drifting into various tendencies from error. Since they are mistaken at the outset, they change faces, doing all sorts of acts. This is called following delusion and turning away from enlightenment. If you plant good roots early, and your mind opens up at the words of a good teacher, so you see through to your original face, that is called turning back from delusion to enter enlightenment. However, when deluded, how has that ever diminished anything? When enlightened, how has that ever added anything? When deluded, you are deluded about the content of enlightenment. And when enlightened, you are enlightened about the content of delusion. When delusion and enlightenment are penetrated, and the root of birth and death is severed, it is like a single snowflake on a red-hot furnace. Be it Buddhas, founders, ordinary, holy, opposition, accord, good, bad, long, short, gain, loss, right, wrong, none can touch it. But in this place, nothing can touch. You can deal with everything. It is like space containing all forms without any discrimination among objects. It is also like space being omnipresent, equally pervading all lands. Every particle, every land is a door of great liberation. Buddhism and the things of the world become one. This is the same as the body and mind before you even intended to study Zen. But there is no more wrong knowledge and wrong understanding in your gut. This is what is meant by the saying, when enlightened, after all, it's the same as when not yet enlightened. When you reach this realm, only then is it called a state free of doubt. Also, I have personally instructed you that there are two kinds of not doubting. Seeing through the original state, reaching the point of ultimate great peace is of course it, and need not be mentioned. But there is still the risk of settling down there and remaining stuck to it. There is a kind of not doubting due to willful blindness, telling oneself there has never been any delusion, so there is no enlightenment now either. Then, when questioned closely about the state where there is no delusion or enlightenment, after all, one can't go. Isn't this not doubting due to willful blindness? This is the type known as burnt seed, spoiled sprouts, who cut off the life fruit of Buddhas, shed Buddha's blood. How can you talk to them? Since ancient times, old worthies' investigation of this one great matter was not easygoing. It was thoroughgoing. How can that be compared to elders of the present time carrying the burden of what they've attained? What does this mean? There is a type who stop when they've attained some perception and don't go to anyone to make sure. When people bring something up and set it before them, they cannot elucidate it and swallow it whole. Though they say they don't doubt, after all, there is something in their bellies they cannot digest. This is the root of birth and death. There is a type of person who attain some perception, then sit stuck to their perception. Not getting free of their perception, they just talk about mystery and marvel, setting out little pathways and calling this helping people. These are devils destroying the true school of Bodhidharma. There is a type who make effort till they reach a state of quietude, where body and mind are somewhat at ease. Then they just sit in the state where there is no one. When they see people talking about good things, they get annoyed and retort, "In the path of Zen, there is fundamentally nothing to explain." That's what Yunmen meant when he said, "Everywhere is not clear, and there is something before you." This sickness is most severe. There is a type who get some perception and become dissolute, negating Buddhas, negating founders, negating the sages, going on totally nihilistic, stealing, fornicating, drinking alcohol, and eating meat, calling this unimpeded Zen. They are the seed of hell. This is what Zen master Yongjia referred to as attaining emptiness suddenly, ignoring cause and effect, and becoming wild and dissolute, beckoning disaster. There is also a type whose perception is sunk in silence, simply eating up the community's food. They stick to the state they're in like possums playing dead, waiting for enlightenment. These are tumble-down shacks in remote mountains and vast wastelands. These are called kings of inoperative knowledge. They just use up the donations of the faithful. Actually, those who study as they should never have any such moorings. They don't get stuck in such places. They have their own lives transcending religion with extraordinary vision. For example, the Honorable Yan Yang asked Joshu, "When one doesn't bring anything, then what?" Joshu said, "Put it down." Joshu knew his ailment was there, so he reached out with a poisonous hand to remove the sweaty shirt sticking to his skin. Without this expedient, he couldn't be saved. The Honorable Yang Yang didn't get it and asked, "Since I don't bring anything, what should I put down?" Joshu then said to him, "If you can't put it down, carry it out." This line is even harsher, even more than getting a painful caning. The ancient adepts, since time immemorial, practicing this undertaking, penetrated to where there is not the slightest error. Only then did they dare to occupy the position of being a guide and model for others. How can they be compared to the current gang who make a show of fame and profit, confusing and blinding people's eyes? I tell you directly, the expression used to help people must be something you have attained yourself. Of old it has been said, attaining it in your mind, accord with it in your ways. Acting according to the occasion, you do not expend energy. Breaking out, leaping with life left and right, everyone is in one's net. You cannot say one case is helpful while another is not. Avoid making this interpretation, not realizing that in a clear mirror on its stand, beauty and ugliness are distinct of themselves. Old Louis Shan said, Here I have just a sword. With the sword is the intent to cut up the body, and also a way to get out. Since ancient times, the old adepts acted out in countless different ways, but it all flowed forth from where they stood, adapting successfully without convention, adapting successfully beyond convention, killing and giving life freely. Yanto said, if we talk in terms of combat, every individual's power is in the pivotal place. Isn't this calm composure? Listen to the sound of the bell. So, whatever you do, don't get stuck. Keep doing good deeds. Keep being mindful. And most importantly, bring up this energy and this intention to be your own best friend, to take care of yourself, whatever that means, as deeply and as fully as you possibly can. Okay? Just do your best to take care. So that's going to be the wrapping up of Bhante's birthday bonanza. I hope everyone had a lovely time and a great joy. And I look forward to seeing you all again soon. Okay? Thank you, Chesh, Abi, and DJ, and Christina, Sonia, Randy, especially for sharing your presence visually. I really enjoy that to see. We see each other, right? So it's very nice. And see you all again soon, okay? Bye-bye. And thank you, everyone, who joined on YouTube. Take care.